but I'll tell you what defeats culture, certainly in early stage companies, when you have well, one of the reasons I like early stage companies is because you have the opportunity to set the culture, right? When I was
Yeah.
hiring, grads, we were teaching management from the very beginning, which was able to build a strong culture from the beginning. It's much harder to reset a culture. But
Hmm. Hmm.
one of the things that really defeats cultures in early stage companies is the myths around entrepreneurship, right? So when people read the book about the successful entrepreneur, it was the brilliant idea, that was the moment that changed everything. And of course, it's written in hindsight, by someone who's already very successful, who with ghostwriters who want to make a dramatic moment out of something. And the truth is, you know, uh, the inspirational moment and the drive where I was going to prove to the world that I was right. That's terrible instincts for actually running a company,
Hmm.
right? If I meet a CEO who has that myth in their head, like my idea is the most important thing, and I'm going to rail against the world and prove everybody that I'm right, and well, those are myths. They're not real, and they might be in the biography books, but they're set up to be dramatic or to sound important or to make the successful person sound like they were brilliant in those moments. The truth is, every company that we've ever been involved with that's been successful failed at what they were originally doing. So
Hmm.
so if I came across a CEO who was telling me, I'm going to tell everybody that I'm right and I'm going to push this on the market, it's going to work. I actually have no interest in investing in them, and I don't know any investor that would. Um,
Hmm.
because it's a terrible person to work with, right? Like I'm not going to listen to the market. I'm not going to listen to customers. I'm not going to listen to my investors. I'm going to show everybody that I'm right. It's like, well, then you're going to fail. That's what's going to happen,
Too
right?
too
And
rigid, too dogmatic, not receptive to information coming
yeah,
in.
and every customer, sorry, every CEO, if they're not listening to the customer, then they're not going to realize where the market opportunity is. Every
Hmm.
company that we've been involved with that's successful, they went to market with an idea, right? And the idea was actually the least important thing. The most important thing was what's going on in the market, right? Is the
Yeah.
market dynamic? Is there change going on? If you're in an established market, I don't know, banking in Canada, right? It's really hard as a small company to break into an established market where there's no disruption going on. Like
Yeah.
you just it's impossible, right? Whereas if you're in a good market where there's lots of disruption going on, there's lots of opportunity, there's a lot of money splashing around for opportunity,
Hmm.
then what happens is you can go to the market with your idea, and as you're working on it, you're going to learn a whole pile, right? So the other thing is your heart. You got to have the commitment, right? So as a
Hmm.
team, are you committed to make it work, and you're going to stick together, and you've got the right culture, right? So
Hmm.
you're in the right market, right? There's a lot of money splashing around. There's high values. There's a lot of disruption. So there's an opportunity for a small player to get in, right?
Okay.
And you've got a great team with great culture who are listening and responding and can pay attention. And then you go to market with an idea, and the idea is wrong. And every company I've ever been involved with that's been successful, their first idea was wrong. It didn't work out,
Hmm.
right? But they were paying attention. They got lots of feedback. They were actually talking to customers and trying to solve a problem. And when it didn't work, they learned enough that another door opened, and it was a bigger and better door anyway, right? So if I was to tell you, my idea is what's important because I read the book and that's what entrepreneurs are supposed to do, and I'm so passionate that I'm going to prove to you that this idea is correct. Well,
Hmm.
given my experience, that's definitely going to fail, as
Hmm.
opposed to someone who is open, recognizing that the market is shifting, recognizing that there's an opportunity, and I've got a highly motivated team, and I've learned so much from being in the market and trying to sell the first thing
Hmm.
that I've created an opportunity for a bigger thing.
Hmm.
So that concept of I'm right and I'm going to prove to you that I'm right, and that filters down on how management operates is terrible
Right.
for culture. It's
Yes.
terrible for the strategy of the company, and it's taken from a myth which are books written in hindsight by people who are already successful, who are trying to make dramatic moments in their history sound exciting. The truth is, it's not at all that exciting. It's hammering away at a market and understanding what's going on with your customers that leads you to your biggest opportunities.